Hello again, honky tonks. I've had a few hours now to calm down over this Rupert Lowe, Nigel Farage, Zia Youssef reform circus. It has been a circus. Um, I think I reacted as most people have because we all feel like we've been let down. Um, we feel, well, speaking for myself, I can't speak for you, but I invested a lot in reform. It was like a last chance saloon politically, in order to stop this vicious wheel going round, this vicious circle of the Tories and Labour having a monopoly on British politics. It's a monopoly that hasn't really benefited Britain. In fact, it's just made things worse. It really has. I'm invested in politics. Ever since I've started making YouTube videos, I have chosen a side which aligns with my thinking, and my political rhetoric has been fed by that. And it's almost like, I don't know, it's like a drug. Politics is like a drug. I have tried a few times to walk away from this. I really have. I've tried taking long breaks away from politics and making videos, but it just draws me back in. There's always something that happens. I'll tell the other half, right, I'm going to take a week off making videos. It's a bit too much. It can be really stressful, really stressful. And then something happens the next day and I just got to talk about it. I've got to give my opinion while I still have free speech. Like I've said before in many videos, free speech is one of the most important cogs in the wheels of democracy. Once that cog is gone, democracy, it's finished. And that's what they're after. I'm convinced whoever is running this shit show at the very top is after our minds. They want to control us, what we think, say and do. And their end game is we will have nothing and be happy. And that's it. And I dread that. I really do dread that. So that's why I invested everything in Nigel Farage and reform. And when they got rid of Rupert Lowe, a guy who said what I thought, he was me made flesh in Parliament. This is how I feel now. I just felt betrayed. I really felt betrayed. I thought, here we go again. Nigel Farage has a history of, I wouldn't say it's flaking, but it's like thinking he's finished the job and walking away when he hasn't. He really hasn't. He did it with UKIP. He blamed it on Tommy Robinson and others. He did it with the Brexit Party, walked away, came back, reform, and here he is now. He's dedicated 5 years, or so he says, to being the leader of reform. Now, here's the thing. Reform is really our last hope, all right? They were our last hope, but it can't be anyone else. We have 4 years now, or 5 years tops, to get a party into Parliament to break this vicious circle, the status quo, the Tories and Labour. We have 5 years to do that. Can we do that with UKIP? Can we do that with the Homeland Party? Can we do that with anyone else? No, I don't think we can. Now, I'm not saying that to be disrespectful to the little parties. They just don't have it. They don't have that je ne sais quoi. They don't have Nigel Farage, someone like that, someone with the charisma and personality to make them what he has made reform. They just don't have it. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. And as much as I am absolutely and utterly dismayed at the way they have treated the Rupert Lowe issue, I don't see other choice. I really don't. What do we do? if we invest in smaller parties, which we all won't agree on who to support, that means Starmer and Labour have another 5 years in power, another 5 destructive years. I mean, Starmer and Labour have only been, 8, 9 months? Look what they've done. They've got another 4 years, 5 years tops, and this country will be unrecognisable by the time they've finished. Can you imagine another 5 years of this lot? Another 5 years of that nasally voiced Dalek in Downing Street, lying, corrupt sleaze, raising more taxes, taking more money from us, more freedoms, jailing more people for free speech, getting us back into the EU through the back door, a European army, maybe at war with Russia full time, conscripts. Can you imagine that? I couldn't. And the only way to stop them is reform, sadly. I mean, all this because Nigel Farage and Zia Youssef thought that Rupert Lowe was mounting a leadership challenge. That's not what it was at all. Rupert Lowe asked valid questions, and then we understand from behind the scenes he's tried this for ages, to get a meeting and to have dinner and to talk to Nigel about the hierarchy, the governance of the party, how to make it more democratic. Ben Habib was absolutely right. And they did this to him. Whether he was mounting a leadership challenge, we don't know. But publicly doing that was probably either a last resort thing by him, or, and I'm just spitballing here, maybe the endorsement by Elon Musk got to his head. Maybe he thought, yeah, I can do a better job than Nigel. But he went the wrong way about it. If it was a coup attempt by Rupert Lowe, then it failed miserably. If not, and he had good intentions, like I'm saying, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just putting things in perspective here now. I really am. I'm being serious. I'm being sincere. I'm just trying to look at it on an even landscape here. Yes, I do stand with Rupert Lowe. I thought he was a very maverick politician. He spoke out against everything that I think is wrong with the country. Every ideologue, every rhetoric, every movement that I think is detrimental to the people of our island, not just England, Wales, and Scotland, but our people as a whole. And he said things which resonated with me. He really did. I was glad he was on our side. I was glad he was in Parliament. I was glad he was saying what he was saying. But let's face it, all right, this episode is over. He's not going back to reform. They refuse to entertain the idea. He repeatedly asks Nigel Farage to have dinner with him to sort this out. I really hope they do. I mean, what we're asking for here is something that's not going to happen. Him to return, give him back the whip, apologise to him, and sack Zia Youssef, whom I think is a massive problem there. From what I've seen online, it's too much to talk about Zia Youssef, but I do think the guy is there with not very honest intentions. Nigel Farage saw this very rich man and was sold immediately, probably saw the money. And that's it. Here you go. Here's the chairmanship. I think that's what happened there. Let's be honest here. But that's the way I see it. It really is. Rupert Lowe is not coming back. It's not going to happen. It's over. All right. It's done. It really is done. As much as I'd like to see him back, let's be realistic here. It's not going to happen. It really isn't. It really isn't going to happen. It's a damn shame. We've lost a really good MP. Is he still an MP in Parliament, or is he independent now, I guess? But yeah, we've lost a bloody good MP. A businessman, donated his wages as well. Resonated with the working man and woman. Was there with the working classes. He understood us. Him and Ben Habib, they understood us because they were one of us. They weren't like Nigel and Richard Tice and this Zia Youssef fella, whoever the hell he is. He's got an American accent one minute and a British accent the next. Make of that what you will. So yeah, I'm afraid there's going to have to still be reform. I know you won't agree with that. But what else do we have? Can UKIP make it to that level in 5 years' time? Nick Tenconi, is that his name? The leader of UKIP, he went to Ukraine as well with Richard Tice on that little jolly, giving supplies to the Ukrainian army. That's an alarm bell right there. It really is. But it has to be reform, and I hope reforms sort themselves out. I really do. Either that, who's the alternative here? Tories again? They can never be trusted after what they did. Donald Trump won't even speak to Kemi Badenoch when he comes here for the state visit because he knows she's slagged him off. This is a guy now, unlike the last time he was president, he knows who his enemies are and he's got his fingers on the pulse and he's clearing them out. He is finally draining the swamp in the US. And the fact he won't speak to the leader of the opposition in this country tells you everything. He'll speak to Nigel Farage. But there we go. That's what I think anyway. I'm going to the Reform conference in Birmingham, the big one. Is it the end of this month? I'll be there. If you see me, come and say hello. I would like many of you to talk on camera or off camera if you don't want to show your faces. I want to know what you think about this whole thing. Apparently, Reform lost 1,500 members in the past 24 hours, ever since this whole row. But looking at their ticker, they've gained 150. So somebody's lying somewhere. But I know this, a lot of people are unhappy with Reform. A lot of people have said they're leaving Reform. But there really is no alternative. That's my point. There's no alternative. We need to have Labour out. We can't have Starmer in. The country can't afford Starmer. Not another 5 years. It really can't. So it has to be Reform still, unfortunately. So there we go. We get what we are given and we do the best with what we've got. And that's what we've got. That's what we're given. Reform Nigel Farage. On the plus side, they've shown they can be ruthless and cutthroat. And if they do ever gain power, that they use that cutthroat and ruthless ability on behalf of us, the people who vote them in, to not take any crap from Labour and the Tories. So there we go. That's my truth. That's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments as usual. And yeah, sorry for the gaps. I'm thinking really hard here. You can see the steam rising from my head. Anyway, there we go. I'm past 49. Thanks for watching. And until the next time, Roger Trout.